Hey everybody, this is Leslie from Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and I hope you can hear me. I am going live for the first time, and I am just going to be flooding some cookies today, so I hope that you enjoy. I can't watch the comments while doing this, so if you have comments, go ahead and put them down, questions, and I will get back to you and answer them at a later time. And anyway, I'm just going to use my icing here. It's royal icing. It's in about a 12-second consistency. I prefer to work at a 15-second consistency. I'm just going to outline this leaf cookie. I'm just going to be flooding a series of cookies today. So it's pretty simple and easy and relaxing, and sometimes it's just really satisfying to watch when you flood cookies. Anyway, I made my outline, and I'm just going to go around now and flood the cookie. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because my flood icing is a little bit of a thinner consistency. And you know, I just realized I should probably put my mic on so that you can hear me without echoes. So I will probably take a little break as soon as I finish flooding this cookie and go do that. So I'm just going to take my scribe here and bring my flood icing all the way to the edge. A lot of times when I'm doing a lot of cookies, I will flood them on a tray and outline them all first and then go back and flood them just for speed's sake. And when I do that, sometimes I will also use a thicker consistency outline and then a thinner consistency flood just to speed things up. But I'm not making very many cookies today, so I'm just going to do it this way. Once I get my flood icing all the way to the edge, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little shake so that it all kind of levels out. And then I'm going to wipe off my scribe so it doesn't stick to the icing. I have a damp paper towel over on the corner. And I'm just going to then barely tap on the icing to get it to settle down. And now bear with me while I go get my mic. So I'll be right back. And the camera's just going to jiggle for a second while I plug my mic in. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. So I'm just going to set this cookie aside to dry. I'm actually going to put it in my dehydrator because I've got it out. So I will just stick it in there. But oftentimes I just have a table fan and I just stick my cookies in front of the table fan. And my icing today is a 12 to 15-second consistency royal icing. And I'm just going to do a bunch of leaves in fall colors. And then when they're done, I'll go back and paint them. But to make my outline, I'm just going to go close to the edge of the cookie. And when I get to the corners here, I can go in and make a loop. Sometimes that's easier. Or I can just kind of touch down and go around the corner. And then I can turn my cookie so I can see what I'm doing easier. And when I'm doing this, I watch where the icing is falling, not the piping bag. And that helps get me to stay right next to the edge a lot easier. I don't remember where I learned that, but it was a whole game changer. Now I'm just going to flood this in. My orange icing is a little bit thicker. It's more of a 15-second consistency, which is what I prefer to use, so I can go right up to the edge without worrying about it flowing over. And if you jiggle your piping bag as you're flooding, it will help the icing to settle down and smooth out so that you don't have to spend as much time with your scribe. And I know a lot of people don't really like spending time with the scribe, and it's definitely not the exciting part of the video to watch, but it really makes a difference in giving your cookies a nice professional finish. It's smooths them out, makes everything blend together. It pops air bubbles. It helps prevent craters. It helps you get into tight little spaces if you're working in a small area. So I really recommend you just, get to love your scribe and the time it takes. And again, oops, see, stuff happens even when you decorate cookies all the time. If I was decorating a lot of cookies, I would use a thinner consistency for the flood and outline them with a thicker consistency and do it all in a big tray so that I didn't have to work at one cookie at a time and more like a production line. You just barely tap at your icing. It will get all of these little peaks to settle down and you won't see them. I can still see my outline over here and I don't like that, so I'm just going to wiggle this icing a bit so it blends all together. This icing is probably a little bit thicker than a 15-second consistency, or it would have blended together already. But I can work with this, so I'm not going to go and remix my bag. I'm not in a big hurry today to get everything done. It'll be okay. Excuse me. I don't usually talk this much, and my throat is a little bit dry. Don't worry, this cookie is not being given out as a gift. It's just a sample cookie. So we'll set this one aside to dry as well. We'll grab another one. Now, I also recommend the cookie turntable. It's really helpful to be able to turn the cookie without touching it and see what you're doing. And if you've never tried cookie decorating before, you should really give it a try. It's super relaxing. It's really therapeutic, and it's a great stress reliever. And it's just a lot of fun, and it tastes really good, and you can eat your mistakes. So what's wrong with that? It's a great way to make gifts for people that are personable. It's a gift from the heart. It's really not that difficult to do. You have to work a little bit at getting your royal icing consistency right, but it's not that hard to do if you just have a little patience and you take the time to go and rebag your icing if you need to. And then you can learn to make great gifts and great cookies for your family and friends. Everybody will love, and then you don't need to pay $4 or more for a cookie. Have them made for you. And if you do want to learn how to make cookies like this, I have a lot of YouTube tutorials that will teach you. I also have some classes that go a little bit more in depth you can take and learn all about cookie decorating. This icing is a thinner consistency, so I'm going to use my scribe to actually get the icing all the way out to the edge. I don't know what you guys are up to this morning, but cookie decorating is my favorite way to spend a Saturday morning. Later this afternoon, we've got some errands to run and chores to do. But this morning is all about having fun and decorating cookies. I don't really have time to do this during the week. I do have another job that I go to outside of the house. So this is just my side hustle, my side passion. And If I could, I would spend all my time doing this, but I might not like it anymore if I did that. I don't know. What I love the most is just teaching you guys how to decorate cookies. See, I've got a different shape here, so we'll do a different one just for some variety. And I have some green icing that I haven't opened yet, so I'm just going to cut a small hole in the tip. You see how I do that? I'm just going to go ahead and outline this one. So I'm going to touch down, lift up my icing bag, and go around the cookie, going closer at the corners, from the corner, and then touch down again. And I think I'm actually going to turn it. I'm going to start inside so I can get it right up at the edge. I'm lifting my piping bag up away from the cookie, maybe about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and then watching where the icing is falling as I go around. And I like to get my icing right at the edge of the cookie. It's okay if it's inward a little bit, but this is the way I like it to look. Then we're just going to flood that in, going right over those lines I made in the interior of the cookie. Finally starting to feel a little bit like fall where I live. I'm in Northern California, and a couple of weeks ago we were still at like 107 degrees. It was crazy. We're not usually quite that hot in September, October, but we were this year for some reason. And it's finally getting to at least cool down at night and have some nice fall days and be pretty chilly in the morning. So almost sweater weather here. Probably won't actually be sweater weather until the end of October, the middle of November, but we're getting there. When I finish flooding all these cookies and I let them dry completely, I'm going to come back and use some edible food color, gel color, and paint a leaf pattern on it. And just dress these up a little bit. You could also just take some gold edible paint and splatter paint it, give it a little bit of sparkle, or even just spray some glitter spray if you wanted some sparkle. And these would be a really cute set. You can put them all together and make a platter, like kind of make a wreath out of them. And so it makes a really cute Thanksgiving platter. And I do have a video. Oops, there I go again. I do have a video where I made dipped cookies, leaves, and made a platter out of it. So if you want to make a wreath pattern for Thanksgiving or something, you can check that out. I think it's in my fall or Thanksgiving playlist. Dipped cookies are a fun and easy activity you can do with the kids and make some really pretty cookies. You just need a few colors of royal icing, and the icing can be a pretty thin flood consistency, and it just makes really fun tie-dye effect kind of cookies, really fast, really easy. It's a great project for the little kids to do. My outline was showing over here, and I'm pretty picky about that. And I'll stick this one in the dehydrator to dry. They don't need to go in the dehydrator. I'm just flooding the cookie, but it's here and I've got it set up, so I'm going to use it. And so if you're just joining me, I'm just flooding cookies today, just having fun with it. And then when they dry tomorrow, I'll go back and paint some details on it. Wish you could play music while you were doing these lives. But I guess you can't do that. Copyright and all that. Feels kind of funny just sitting here talking to myself. I guess I'm talking to all of you guys, but I can't see you and I can't see any comments, so it just feels kind of weird. When you fudge your cookies, you want to squeeze a generous amount of icing. I don't know if you can see how much icing I'm actually putting on here. Tilt it a little bit. It's a pretty thick amount of icing. You want to be able to move it around with your scribe without really hitting the cookie too much. And you also want to make sure your scribe is clean. So every time after I finish using it, I try to remember to wipe it off because I don't want to incorporate a different color into my icing. And I also don't want it to get dried icing on it that will then flake off and get into my cookie. And the same thing goes for all of your tools, your piping bags, your hands, your gloves. Keep them clean so that dried icing doesn't flake off onto your cookie. I'm going to just use my scribe here a little bit to move it over closer to the edge because I didn't quite get my outline on the edge there. You wipe off your scribe, you can put it back in and it won't stick to the icing anymore. This is such a pretty red color, perfect for fall. And another cookie done. Stick that in my dehydrator. When I'm just flooding a cookie and I'm not like trying to do a detailed outline, I like to just drag it inside and then turn the corner and start over. My orange icing again is pretty thick, so I'm going to wiggle my piping bag as I'm piping. It helps it settle down. And that was a big air bubble. Did you see that? Because it's thicker, I'm just going to go right up next to my outline. Another air bubble. And I just want to kind of go over here around the edge because I want my outline to be incorporated into the flood icing. And I kind of use my scribe along the edge here to make sure that that happens. Looks like my icing is going over the edge a little bit here, so I'm just going to wipe that away. And then I have a damp paper towel off here to the side, so I'm just going to wipe it away. That does happen sometimes, not usually with the thicker icing like this, but I guess I just flooded it a little bit too much. Very good this time. Give it a little shake to settle it down. Just barely tap it. It will settle down. barely wiggle that icing. Anyway, I'm always looking for ideas, so if there's anything to see or learn how to decorate, just drop me a note in the comments, and I'd be happy to make your ideas and do a video tutorial on that. It helps me, it helps you. So go ahead and do that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. You'll get notifications. I drop a new video just about every day. So there's lots of holidays coming up that you're going to want to be prepared for. So make sure you subscribe. And I think that's probably about it for today. Again, I was just flooding some leaves. So I hope you enjoyed it, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, and I'll talk to you next time. See you later. Bye.